It's the 31st of January 2019. I'm David Griffin and I'm here at Sandiacre Cricket Club and I'm talking to
John Watkin,
Peter Dunn,
Steve Hart.
Gentlemen, thanks very much for joining us as part of the Oral History Project. Sandiacre, right on the border but very firmly in Derbyshire, and with a very long and largely successful history. Can we start, as far as you know anyway, about the origins of Sandiacre Cricket Club? When was cricket first played in the town?
around about 1834.
And was that organised cricket that we know of?
Yes. There's an article, I think Steve's got a copy of it.
There's a game here in 1839 where we played a side from Breaston. Whether they played on this ground or not, nobody knows for sure, because there are other flatlands in the village. But we've got evidence from 1839, 1840. They played for rabbits. And one of the games, Sandiacre did very well. We played Stableford and we lost the game, and we pinched the only ball. And as it said in the paper,
they stole the ball.
They stole the ball after the game, having lost it, and it said the man will be in trouble later when they find out who stole it.
And where is that published then? Was that
this is in the Stoke Bath local paper.
Really?
Yeah, from the Nottingham Review, one of them.
Right.
Yeah, and I got an article from the Nottingham Evening Post archives that we played Stanbydale in 1834 for a rabbit supper.
Really?
Mr. Scattergood, whoever he was.
And do we know where that game was played?
I think it was played at Stanton.
Right.
Stanbydale.
So almost 200 years of cricket history, basically, in Sandiacre.
There's an article on it in that book I've brought along.
Yeah. And presumably Sandiacre then was just a fairly small kind of settlement.
Very small. When I was born in 48, it was probably about 3,000.
Right.
Well, we researched the book, George and I, that book there. We got into the archives of the Nottingham Post and the Longing Advertiser, and the total populace of Sandiacre was 259.
Really?
So, yeah.
And the church, St Giles, we found that it was registered in the Domesday Book, and the nave below the spire, which was burned down in 1200 or something, was built in 900 or something. Right.
And do we know anything about where the cricketers would they all be local people, and what sort of occupations they might have had?
There's a Scattergoods and Pickerings and
there's the railway.
Right.
Was one of the biggest employers.
Yeah.
Towton, Soudings, and the places next to it, and there's a big factory on the river here, upholstery it did, and so it'd be workers who work there. I think the other problem is, well, the problem with Sandiacre, like anybody, is transport. You go to another game, you go how far your horse will take you. I mean, or the games in 1830 would have been horseback, or had been pulled by carriage, I should imagine.
There's an article in that book we included it, where a guy, a local butcher, was fined driving his horse and cart above 10 miles an hour.
Really?
It's fine.
Was he late for a cricket match?
Must have been downhill, probably.
It's in that book anyway.
But no, it's interesting because, of course, cricket followed the railways, didn't it? At every level. It was the only form of transport, really.
And my first games, I remember with my father who played, we would go on the bus, and it would be a day out, because we'd play Upper Broughton. Well, I mean, Upper Broughton by car now, it's 40 minutes. Well, you can imagine two buses, one to Nottingham, one out to Upper Broughton. Yeah. And it was the whole day. The whole day was given over to the game. And it's a different game now.
Absolutely.
And you had to carry the kit.
And you had to carry you had one bag.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the original, the origins of the game in Sandiacre, we know that the club was founded in 1877. So, do we know what caused the move from this kind of occasional cricket to a formalised club?
Yes, I can tell you that.
Right.
Well, in the 1970s, Stephen's father, Wolford, was the chairman then, a great chairman. He approached me and my wife Joyce because he knew we were interested, or Joyce particularly, in the history of the club. Yeah. If we'd see when the centenary, if we could pin a date with the centenary, and the proceeds of all that was Joyce produced that book, and the photographic history of it is in that big folder there.
Right.
And
You decided the starting date would be 1877, Peter, did you?
we decided it was 1877.
And what do we know of the ground or the cricket, the kind of cricket that was being played? Because I assume there was no formalised league cricket being played in the 19th
No,
century.
in the 1948, what are we talking about? 48? Just after the war, anyway.
Yeah, but there'd be no formalised cricket in the 1870s, would there?
I would have thought so.
You play friendlies then?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you remember you two? You're older than me.
Yes, it would be, yeah. I can't remember leagues until after the war, really.
Went to the league in 1952, didn't we?
So if I can come to the three of you as individuals then, John, what was your first introduction to cricket, and was it at Sandiacre or did you play at school first?
My first introduction to cricket really was through my dad. My dad played cricket, and if he hadn't played cricket I probably never would have been interested. I went with him to all the cricket matches he played.
Where did he play?
Well, he played at Sandiacre Premier.
Right.
Which was just over the bridge in Stapleford, actually. The name came from the Crossley Premier Works in Sandiacre. Right. That's where it got its name from. And I played for them when I got to the right age, and I stayed and played with them until they folded in 1972. And then I came to play here because I knew one or two people that played here, and that's why I came to Sandiacre Town.
And what was Sandiacre Town? What cricket were they? What league were they in
Sandiacre Premier.
1972? No, the Sandiacre Town.
Oh, the Sandiacre, well, the Not Amateur League.
Right. And was it a successful side at that time?
Yes.
Oh, very much so.
Yes, I felt I was coming into a very good team, really. And yes, it was a struggle for me, really, to be as good as quite a lot of them.
Peter, when was your first introduction to the game of cricket?
Well, I had an uncle who introduced me to the club in 1947.
Right.
George Taylor, his name was. He was a very good player. George Taylor.
How old would you have been?
12.
Right.
I was 12.
George Taylor and Sammy Downing and Phil Parrott were extremely good players, and they were my idols. There wasn't a third 11 then, but in 1948 there was a third 11 created under the auspice of Nobby Thurman. He was the local police sergeant. He was the captain. He was a terror player. He terrified me. He would say, "Dunn, go there. That's mid-off. Walk in with the bowler. Stop everything." And go for every catches. I don't mind you dropping them, but go for them. Yes, Mr.
And had you played cricket at school during the war years?
Yeah,
was there any?
That's why George Taylor introduced me.
Right.
I was quite a good youth player.
Right.
And then I should think when I was 15, I got my first 50 for Sandiacre, playing for the second 11.
Where was that?
Long Eaton Gas Company on West Pole.
That's a club that's long gone, I should imagine. The Long
A
Eaton
bit
Gas
barbecue, but I was only 13 at the
Prices
time.
have gone up now.
Yeah. How old were you? 15?
I was 13.
13.
And then I quickly moved on to the first 11. I got in the first 11 at 16.
Right.
And there were a lot of good young players, but they stuck with me. I don't know why, but they did. and I was battered at number 8 and did a few quick pie throwing and off spinners. And I slowly worked my way up the order to number 3, and I batted at number 3 for Sandiacre once for over 25 years.
Really? You must have
And,
some record, I suspect.
Well, there you are. You don't talk about records. It was a different game then.
Can we have
Uncovered wickets.
Indeed.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right, definitely.
Steve, if I can just come to you, when was did you play cricket before you came to Sandiacre?
Yeah, well, my first came down and my dad was chairman then, so I came through the gate when he carried me. So
Yeah.
I'd be 6 months, probably 9 months because I was born in October. I played at grammar school and played for Derbyshire schools and
Right.
all that, but my first proper game, played for Sandiacre 2s, I used to score, and if somebody didn't turn up you got a game, so I used to pray that somebody was late. I remember my first game was at Gedley Miners Welfare, and I was quick bowler at school, so I bowled quick, and I got smacked at all parts of Gedley Colliery ground. And my first game in the first team, I was 16, and they said you're playing at Trent Bridge against Notts Colts, and I thought that's marvellous. And you're playing on the Sunday in the cup match, even better. Played both games. Unfortunately, it was the Saturday that England won the World Cup.
All right.
So obviously somebody didn't want to watch. Somebody wanted to watch it, and whoever didn't watch it on the Saturday watched it on the Sunday. But I played both games, and I got hit. You'll be pleased to know I got hit round Trent Bridge to various parts.
Just out of interest, when you played for Derbyshire schools, who was around? Who were your contemporaries? And did any of them go on?
Tony Borrington.
Right.
Borrows is my year. And Alan Hill.
Right.
Alan Hill played county football with me.
Yeah. So a good standard of young
yeah, they were good. They were good. It was very enjoyable, but you know, you went to university, didn't you? You didn't play. Cricket was no...
It was Stephen's father who introduced youth cricket to the club.
Right.
He asked me and a chap named Eric Smedley to take on the juniors, and we went on a course to get our MCC badges and then on to the advanced coaching course.
Right.
Which I don't think Eric took it, but I did, and we set up the junior setup here, which was very successful. If you look at the fixture card, you'll see we won 20 Derbyshire Youth trophies in 19 years.
Well, I know we're going to come on to, in the subsequent interviews, some of the players that came through that system, obviously.
Yeah. Well, some great players.
And the junior, it was through Peter's starting it that we still have very successful juniors, and it's getting people to coach them.
Yes.
And now we have a lot more, because they're starting younger and younger, because there's no cricket in schools.
Yeah. I'm interested in where your players were coming from during the years that you three were playing. So we're talking now through from the 50s through to the 70s.
Well,
where was your recruitment?
They would all be local,
yeah.
But because we were fairly successful, because of good captaincy or whatever, or having a good team, you attracted people who would want to come and play in a winning team. Yeah. But nobody really travelled any distance, I don't think, Peter.
No. Did that include, did you have professionals or county players playing for you, or was it all
Peter
strictly
knows.
amateur?
Well, there were several players of county standard, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But we didn't pay anybody in those days.
But Revel played, didn't they?
Alan Revel played.
Yeah. I sort of remember when, I don't want to talk about Premier really, but people seemed to come from Long Eaton a lot.
Right.
To Sandiacre to play. I remember we had the odd person come from Nottingham to play and that sort of thing, but most people seemed to come from Long Eaton to me. That's where I sort of thought of the hub of people.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know this organised cricket which we've now got post-war, was that, what was the decision to go into which league?
I can fill you with that.
Where were you playing? What league were you playing in post-war?
I should think the Trent Bridge had a brilliant idea to create a Premier League. That's what it was really. Best 12 sides in Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire and Leicestershire. And they euphemistically called it the Amateur League. There were more paid players. You could throw a stick.
And was that the Notts Amateur League?
The Notts Amateur League. I say it was semi-professional players, not stews. All sorts of. We used to entertain Notts and Derby in special matches here. What were they called? Benefit matches.
Yeah. And was there any, because I alluded right at the very start, I said you're smack bang on the border, very firmly in Derbyshire, and people may wonder why
we went
never
in the Nottingham. League. It was easier to get, I suppose, was it Peter, Nottingham than Derby on the bus?
Well the Notts Amateur League were undoubtedly the strongest league in that time.
So it was on playing as
better organised and more reachable.
Right.
And it was controlled from Trent Bridge.
Right. Because it's strange, you've got clubs like Darley-Dale out west were in the Border League, weren't they? Nowhere near the border.
The Border League wasn't as strong as Notts Amateur League, just after the war.
Right.
It was a very strong league. We had a lot of money put in.
So what sort of players were you coming up? Are there any names of players that you can think of? Because you said it was an amateur league, but it wasn't really.
Well, I cried so much.
Star.
Well, Notts Colts had a side in it, didn't they?
Yeah, there were a lot of good players. They all played for leading sides.
We had Arnie Townsend,
right,
and his brothers George and Frank,
right,
and they were all from Long Eaton.
Yes,
that was strange.
Championship winning Arnold, 1936.
Right.
So he played here at Sandiacre?
Not here. He played. It was funny. Being on the border, there was so many, people, good players that were either here or just across at Premier.
Yeah.
And you couldn't quite work why they went to one team and not to the other, really. Right. That always intrigued me, really, I must confess. They're the only names of note that I can really recall. Yes.
And who were the big rivals? Who were your, in the I'm thinking 60s, 70s?
Notts Police, Kimberley,
Right.
Eastwood Town,
Bulwell.
all the collieries, Bulwell.
Yeah.
Fantastic teams.
Anybody you fell out with, or was
Everybody.
Peter was struggling to find somebody he hadn't fallen out with, but only in the history, only in the cricketing manner.
Well, it's interesting that off camera we had a little read of some of the stuff I think you've got in front of you, Stephen, talking about the stealing of the ball, for example.
That's right.
Some tales, but I'm sure there was nothing unsavoury during your years, surely.
Oh, not.
There was one game, Peter. Do you remember when you took over as captain and we played at Underwood? And
when would this have been?
You mean when Terry Proggett said it was the worst decision he ever saw?
No, this is 1980, early 80s.
I can't remember.
Late 70s, early 80s. Peter took over as captain, decided that we got a letter from the league about attitude towards umpires, so plus a change. And Peter sat everybody down and said, now then, sit down, listen here, listen. I've got this from the league, I'm going to read this out. Shut up, listen. All the umpires should be treated well. There'll be no back chat to umpires. Umpires' decisions will be accepted automatically. Have you got that? I said, do you remember when we played here last year, Peter, at Underwood? And Peter was giving out LBW to a bloke bowling left arm leggies that pitched about a 6 foot outside leg stump. And the umpire gave him out, and Peter intimated that the umpire was wrong, and he was black-hearted.
It was the only time I did disciplinary hearing at the Trent Bridge.
And
that's how me handle.
And it was unfortunate, and I got the usual, Artie, you got to go and fetch him in. So I went out to have a word with Peter. I think you've been given out. If you'd like to come in now, the next batsman can go in. And Peter intimated that he'd rather stay out there and that I was as big a whatever the umpire was at the time.
If there was a bowler he wasn't too keen on, you used to go out, you used to take guard, didn't you, Pete? And then just as the bowler turned round to come in, you used to walk down the pitch and tap it and go back again and adjust your cap and annoy him so much that the first ball bowler would go anyway.
And there were a lot of umpires who had to, a lot of bowlers had to keep doing the sleeves up, didn't they? Because you didn't like the sleeve down, or you'd make them take the ring off. Or
and you had 25 years of this.
Oh no, most bowlers did.
Don't let them know about it.
Most bowlers did, and it was unfortunate when the most unfortunate one was Peter was batting for the second team in his dotage. And our opening batsman got hit on the head, knocked out.
That was Phil
Froggatt. And the umpire said to Peter, you ought to go and have a word with him. I think see how he is. So Peter took his gloves off, put his bat down, walked down to the batsman. All right, Phil. Their captain, in the meantime, got the ball thrown back around the field because Phil had come off his head. And ran him out at the umpire's end. You see, whereupon they appealed. Now the umpire said, go down there, Peter. You said, oh, you're out. Well, there were people eating the jumper. Peter, and I got the Artie. Can you just go and fetch him in?
You were always the peacekeeper.
I was the one who got the initial mollican. I went out to fetch him in, and I came back and there was nobody in the changing room. Everybody else was hiding round the back or up the edge.
I exaggerate it now. We're never as bad as that.
Well, I believe every word you tell me, gents. Fascinating to hear these memories. I think we'll just pause there for the moment, but for now, thank you very much indeed.
Right.